Hello, Tamara.
Hello. Good
Can you
morning.
introduce yourself? Good morning.
Absolutely. Tamara Lamore, and I am a wife and I'm a mother of three, and I live in Washington State. I live in a little town. It's about 45 minutes north of Seattle. And I've been a real estate agent for 19 years. And out of that 19 years, I started as an independent agent, and I was an independent agent for 8 years, and then ended up joining, partnering up with Ben on the Ben Kinney team. And I've been there for 11 years now.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, well, this is going to be super easy and super to the point. There are only 2 questions. And I'm really excited about this because I want to hear what everybody says. And I think every answer is going to be different. So the first question is, 11 years ago, when you talked to Ben, why did you actually join the team then? What was it that made you join?
You know, I literally can tell you exactly because I remembered that pivotal moment. And you being a mother can understand this. I was sitting on the couch with my 4-year-old son, and it was probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, home with my kid way earlier than most working women get home, and the kids at daycare all day. And so I thought I was doing being the best mom that I could be. And we were watching Cars movie for literally like the 20th time. I could recite every word out of it. And I was entering a listing in my laptop as we were sitting on the couch. I was entering a listing. And Colby, my little 4-year-old, was sitting beside me, and he looks at me and he says, "Mom, can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "How come every time we watch a movie, you have to be on your laptop?" It literally still wells me up. And my 4-year-old is now my 15-year-old, my youngest of 3. And I realized that I wasn't doing it right? And I was there, but I wasn't present. And I thought, okay, I need to figure out how I can leverage. And kind of started growing a little team. And I was at the time, this really dates me actually, but at the time there really wasn't internet marketing. We had just started that. And so I was figuring that out. And I think like way back when I had all my listings on like 84 websites, right? And that was like high in my office. And I was talking with my team leader about it at the time, and just asking about websites. So he said, you need to go talk to this Ben Kinney kid. Didn't know who he was at the time. But he's really good at social media. So I just messaged him, and he's like, "Yeah, let's get together." So in true Ben Kinney meeting fashion, we got together for coffee, which he didn't drink coffee. I found it at that time. We got together for coffee, and then coffee turned into, let's walk over to PF Chang's and have lunch. And so we ended up having lunch, and then he's like, "Get in the car. I want to go look at this property." So it was like 3 hours later. And by the end of the meeting of me just picking his brain about social media, I realized I knew that if I joined him, I'd be a much stronger force than I was by myself. I remember back, and where Ben is now in his career, like back at the day, when we were in our lunch, I was kind of waiting for him to ask me like how many listings you have or how many websites you have your listing on, because I was so proud of that 84 at the time. And he said something like 700, and he was at 750 websites at that time, right? Like way less than what he's doing today. But then I remember it was that pivotal moment, like with my son, and then sitting with Ben, realizing that I'd be a stronger force with him. And so at the end of that meeting, he's like, "Do you have any other questions for me?" And we had just spent a good chunk of the day together. And I just said, "How do I join you? You live in Bellingham. I live in Arlington. I don't want to drive up to Bellingham. It's another 45 minutes north of where I live. And most of my business is down in my area." And he just said, "I own the Everett office. Go sit in a cubicle and I'll send you leads. You close them. We'll both make some money." And high five. And that was pretty much my journey to joining the team.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard this story before, but I hadn't heard one part of it. So that was really good. Okay. So question number 2, you've been there 11 years. What keeps you there?
So I think I'd be remiss if I didn't start with the same thing, leverage, right? Because of the leverage on the team, that's a strong force for me. But realistically, what the leverage does. The leverage gives me more time for more opportunity. So, you know, I remember the conversation that Ben and I had that very first day at PF Chang's, and we were talking towards the end about what did that look like for me to join the team. And he said, you know, my job, and back then, like, we weren't talking expansion, we weren't talking any of that stuff, right? And so he said, my job back then is kind of, if you can picture a circle, is to help you grow your circle. And my job is to grow my world big enough that you can grow your world big enough. And he's lived up to that. Every day in the 11 years, he's lived up to that. Every time I've kind of, you know, grown or, you know, hit my ceiling, you know, he's helped me find a way to break through that, whether it be like when I was first sitting in the cubicle selling real estate to, you know, hiring agents on the team to, which is a whole other story. That'll be next interview. That's the launch of expansion and how it all started. You know,
Yep.
it's Ben and I are very simple people. Like, expansion started through text messaging, but we'll talk about that later. But, you know, to expansion, to growing in a showing specialist, to running expansion, to growing outside, to me, Ben, and Jacqueline bought a real estate school last year. You know, all of those kind of things. Every time I'm looking for a new opportunity or want to grow, he always gives me room to do that and helps me with that. So I would say that leverage for sure, joining. I still stay because the leverage is awesome, but I really stay because of my relationship over the years that I've built, and the loyalty and the trust, which has led to all these opportunities. That was a multi-answer to your question.
No, but that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I wanted these to be, I really didn't want to tell anybody the questions, which was my idea, but they're like, that's cruel. I'm like, okay, good. Well, then I'll tell everybody. But I think everybody's answer is different. And I think a lot of times our answers will be foundationally the same, but sometimes it's a different thing that we're going to say every day, and we kind of remember that. And I think that's awesome. So, okay, one more time, tell me your name and where you're from in case anybody wants to send you referrals. But I appreciate you sharing this with me.
Awesome. It was nice talking with you. So, Tamara Lamore, Ben Kinney Expansion in Everett, Washington. And it really, if you think of Washington State, just send it to me and I can get it to my people. We have people all over Washington State. So if it's too far for me, I'll make sure one of our great people handle it for you. And just think Seattle, Washington, think of me. That would be great. Okay. So
awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Tamara. It was so good to see you this early in the morning. I appreciate it. Your hair looks fabulous.
I was going to say the same with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.